Hi, everybody. My name's Eric Zager, co-founder of Calculum, and I'll be presenting our solution today to you. First of all, I want to thank Fintech Sandbox for having us, and I'm excited to show you what we built. So all companies around the world negotiate payment terms with their suppliers. They're also negotiating pricing, quantity, quality, but the payment terms is what we are focusing on here. And to date, most companies have a standard corporate policy that they have net 60, net 90, or for the very wealthy ones, they hire McKinsey, Deloitte consultants to come in for a few $100,000. In a couple months, they present a PowerPoint on the top 200 suppliers on what they should offer, mainly around publicly available information without a database. So this is why we changed the way that the terms are being optimized and negotiated with our Calculum platform. Why this is important is payment terms are the timing between when you receive a product or the invoice and when you pay. And optimizing this can help your company increase cash flow, cost reduction if you want to use data analytics as leverage to get better pricing, as well as improve your financial metrics such as days payable outstanding, cash conversion cycle, and working capital turnover. We built the platform that we call ADA. It's 100% automated. It leverages learning algorithms and is fully anonymized. So we're never sharing relationship data, but what we do have is a database of payment terms that we can say, these suppliers of yours or your customers are accepting terms from other partners within the market using similar spend volumes. And maybe you should approach these suppliers or customers about raising or lowering terms respectively on that. But we are never sharing who the other side of that party is, because honestly, it's irrelevant and not necessary for the negotiation. And second is to be in compliance with working with these large companies. They don't want their relationships being disclosed. So the Calculum platform has no restrictions on geography, industry, currency, or company size. We work with companies in food and beverage like Campbell's Soup. We work in pharmaceuticals with companies like Roche Pharmaceuticals. So there's really no limit. We don't do any payment processing. So we're just data analytics. There's no country that we can't be in. And I would say our strongest data points are on suppliers in the emerging markets, India, Thailand, China, Brazil, where we have a lot of clients that have suppliers there, and we have a lot of data on companies in those countries. Our vision for Calculum when we started it was democratizing data and improving transparency when it comes to optimizing payment terms with suppliers and customers. And that's what we're doing with Calculum, is bringing that transparency, making sure that companies aren't indirectly financing their competition. How it works is first we look at how our clients line up against their peers in the market using publicly available information, DPO, DSO, cash conversion cycle, to see high level, is there an opportunity? We then match and enrich the suppliers of our corporate clients. Roughly, we're matching and analyzing 90% of the full annual spend, both direct and indirect. And when we do that, we're flagging for SME status, small, medium enterprise. It's a hot topic right now in the EU. Where we are looking at that, we're looking at applying the local laws of the supplier's country to see if they qualify based on revenue, employee numbers, annual turnover. And then we're also looking at payment terms legislation to see if there's any limits on negotiating terms with a supplier based on their country or combination of country, industry size, status, and whether or not that law is enforced or a recommendation by the government. We then show the low-hanging fruit. Out of the 90% analyzed, which supplier should you approach first? And that's why we built this 9-box model, where the y-axis here has the probability of a successful negotiation, and the x-axis, the cash flow impact on the balance sheet. So these red boxes at the top right, boxes 1, 2, and 4, are the low-hanging fruit. And you can select different boxes to see which are included. And we have a list of suppliers below that are included in those boxes, and then a breakdown of statistics. So right now, boxes 1, 2, and 4 are selected. And we see that it represents 13% of the suppliers analyzed, but it represents 55% of the expected cash flow. So these are the ones to approach first by the category managers. The next module is where we help our clients set up individual plans, customized around low-hanging fruits or geographies, however they want to break it down, and tie them to specific category managers so that everybody knows who they're responsible for and when they're expected to contact these suppliers. And then a way to manage and track the entire progress of the negotiations. So treasury procurement can see how the team's performing, how much cash flow has been unlocked, and the category managers can see how they're doing and who to focus on next. We also give the ability for companies to calculate if they should use virtual card, simulating it, as well as which suppliers accept it, and look at the trade-off between the float, the rebate, and the cost of the supplier for the fees. Every supplier, we give the best reasons to negotiate on with the individual supplier based on the relationship. And we give all the argumentation, such as, are you paying early, late, or on time? What suppliers do you do business with that you have terms all over the place with, 55, 60, 65, same supplier? Or do you have two suppliers that are owned by the same parent and we can negotiate on the parent level? Also look at industry region standard. So, similar industry and regions that you work with, harmonize there. Do we see the supplier before in our database? And if so, what are they accepting on average? Third quartile with similar spend volume. Peer group standard is widening the scope, looking at similar suppliers, the similar spend volume. Buyer standard, if they want to have customized standards for specific countries or regions, we can implement that. Financing, if you want to approach with a financing program, I'll speak more on that next slide. And payment terms regulation, as I mentioned previously. Companies sometimes want to look at setting up supply chain finance programs, sometimes called reverse factoring, or already have them in place, and they can use our tool to simulate this and help grow their programs if they already have one. We look at the cost of debt of suppliers along with their WACC and can segment them based on the probability of success that they will join the program that they have. We also have a calculator embedded for every supplier where we call it the payment terms versus price to see the trade-off. Let's say you're on the phone with the supplier and you want to get a 15-day extension to 90 days, but then they come back immediately and say, hey, we have to raise pricing by 75 bips. They plug it in. Within 1 second, we see this is not a good deal for the buyer, a good deal for the supplier. So you can see the impact on both. Also within here, you can simulate supply chain finance and virtual card. Next, we give a 360 view of all your suppliers. So financial ratios, ESG scoring. Sometimes our corporates already do scoring via ESG. They can upload those existing scores. Payment terms optimization, credit rating. Every supplier, no matter how small, private, emerging markets they are, we have a credit rating. We do that through a shadow rating process if they don't have public debt available. We're also looking at buyer leverage. So how much leverage do you spend annually, revenue compared to that, or how much is your spend volume compared to their annual revenue, as well as parent mapping. We also can help our clients negotiate with the tail spend with pre-approved messaging, so the ones they would have ignored. And a success case with Calculum is a multinational pharmaceutical company unlocked over $210 million on $6.2 billion in spend analyzed in just within the first 6 months of working with us. So there's a lot of opportunity. And how it works is quite simple. There's no ERP integration. There's no IT involvement. We just need a few data points after getting an NDA signed. And we do this process for free on a complimentary basis before as a POC to prove that we have value, have data on suppliers, and that there's opportunity. All we need to know is the supplier name, buyer name, how much you're spending, the currency, and what. It is an annual subscription, 12 months, standard, and we do it based on number of seats and the opportunity so that the ROI is clear. Please, if you have any questions, reach out to me. My email is eric@calculum.ai, and my LinkedIn QR code is here. Our website is calculum.ai. Thank you.